is Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. Welcome to another episode of Step 1. I am Freddie Wilson. As a reminder, you can find every episode of Step 1 on Spotify and YouTube. And if you want to see more Step 1 content, follow me on Instagram at Step 1 with Freddie Wilson and on Twitter at Step 1 Podcast. And if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please click subscribe. We got a great show for you today. We got my good friend and returning guest, Eli Hearn, helping us do a fantasy football preview. Also, we finally got college football games to discuss, where it only took one game in week 0 to get a top 10 upset with Florida State going down to Georgia Tech in Ireland. We are also back to doing a full preview of college football, and we got a lot of fun games in week 1 to preview. All right, let's ride. All right, let's start college football. Week 0 delivered on all levels this year. Usually week 0 is pretty boring. It's a lot of games that are blowouts or a lot of games no one wants to see. But it only took one game to get a top 10 upset. Now, Florida State's come off a season that didn't end great. They clearly wanted to prove to everyone they got sub from the playoff last year. Mike Norvell went to the portal and built a team that on paper looked to be a strong contender in ACC. The big get was DJ Ugalele. Big get, great quarterback. I know it's his third school, but he's still a great quarterback, great athlete. And he was supposed to be the guy at Clemson, never worked out. Had some success at Oregon State. Then Jonathan Smith left for Michigan State. So that DJ decides to use his last year, hops in the portal again, goes to Florida State for his final year. It's a big get for the Seminoles. He's a great athlete. But if this game is any indication of what's to come from Florida State, you have a quarterback who can't throw the ball more than 10 yards. It's only one game, but maybe this is the lowest point of Florida State's season, but this is a huge win for Georgia Tech. And again, it's not like Georgia Tech was the best team on the field. Like, their offense moved at times, but it wasn't great. They played good defense, and a good defense could do very well in the ACC. And again, it looked like Florida State had them figured out early on. They scored very quickly in the first drive, but then Georgia Tech scored really quickly as well. Again, well, it's a long season. Maybe Florida State will bounce back and be the team everyone thinks they're going to be. But if this is how they play against a Georgia Tech team, either A, Georgia Tech is just really good, which I don't think they are. I think they're above average, but I don't think they're like a top tier team. Or Florida State's just awful. We're going to find out as the weeks go on. We had also plenty of other good games with big comebacks by Montana State and SMU. Great week 0. And if this is any indication of how the season is going, I'm very excited for this college football season. All right, moving to the NFL. Not a ton of NFL news this week. The Patriots, as of this taping, have yet to name a starting quarterback. So as of today, we're recording this Wednesday. Gerard Mayo says he knows who the starter is, hasn't told the team yet. He's going to tell them tomorrow. So we'll find out when this is out. Sorry, I couldn't give you a better take on it. Again, we're recording on Wednesday. And the Cowboys finally re-signed CeeDee Lamb. I don't know why they couldn't get that done earlier. He's the best player on their offense. Like, I know you need Dak and all, but like, he's their best offensive player. It's not a debate. They needed to sign him. They should have gotten it done earlier. But you know what? They got it done. He's excited to be a Cowboy. The Steelers announced Russell Wilson is going to be their starter over Justin Fields. I think it's clear and simple. Justin Fields is going to be doing kickoff returns for the Steelers. But we'll get more into the NFL next week. We got Jacob Feldstein on the show for our NFL preview, which we already recorded. We talked for over an hour just about football. So you're definitely going to want to tune into that. And now let's get to my interview with Eli Hearn. Okay, today we welcome on a reoccurring guest, Eli Hearn, fantasy football expert. I'll say expert. Here to help us do a fantasy football preview. Eli, welcome back to Step 1. Glad to have you on.
Thank you, Freddie. Good to be back during the most exciting time of the year.
You know, they say Christmas is the most wonderful time of year. No, it's football season.
100%.
Like, all right, order of things I like the best. Football season number 1. Wedding season, but you cut off wedding season in August.
That's fair.
And then Christmas is 3rd, all right?
I haven't fully done wedding season yet, but the
I mean, I haven't
taste
done
I've
like wedding
gotten.
season in the prime, but like I like weddings. I'm pro weddings.
That's fair.
Like if anyone
Yeah,
who's
it's a
watching has a
fair
wedding to
list.
invite me to, invite me. I love weddings. They're fun. I like busting out moves on a dance floor.
I'm sure you rock the dance floor at weddings.
Oh, you know it. Right. Fantasy football. I think we gotta start. We gotta go by position. We're gonna start with probably the most important position in all fantasy football: running backs. So let's say you want to. It's just a hypothetical. Let's say I have his friend who's picking third in a 12-team half PPR league. What running back do you take? Hypothetically, I know his friend. It's totally not me or
Um,
anything.
well, first of all, I personally think full PPR is the way to go.
Okay, you've been vocal
Um,
about that in the league for many years.
given that half PPR does prioritize running back when full PPR evens the playing field between running back and receiver a bit more.
All right, but
This being said, um, third overall,
because McCaffrey's going number one, but like it's a weird
I
year. Like it's
I
not a clear cut
prefer
1, 2, 3.
I prefer Brees.
That's what I was thinking. So actually, I
So
did
it
like
was
a
you. I thought you
mock
said
draft.
it was your friend.
I mean, hypothetically, it's my friend. So I did this. They do mock drafts differently now, where like you can do it like where your like league is on auto draft, but you can draft to see like.
Yeah.
So I did one last night, and I think the team I built was like unrealistically good. Like here, I'm getting Mahomes fifth round, but that's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. That's not gonna happen.
No, because that's strictly based off the rank or whatever.
It wasn't like taking off the top each time, but like no ways Mahomes am I getting Mahomes in the fifth round.
No, I wouldn't be
But
surprised if he went first round in our league, to be
I mean,
honest.
our league specifically, uh, not a friend of a show yet, but fan of a show, Ben Levy might pick him first in the first
That's
round.
fair.
But that's just
That's
our league
true.
specifically. But all right, so we got Brees Hall. What are some other like top like what would you say are your top five? Obviously McCaffrey's number one.
We're talking
Number
half PPR or full PPR.
I mean it depends. Is it differ if you're half or
It's
full?
extremely different, Freddie.
Okay, but think about fantasy
Like, think
football
about
as a
all the
whole.
catches. Think about all the catches that they get in the season and cut that in half.
Okay. Well, let's like think about fantasy football as a whole.
As a whole, my answers would be PPR specific.
Okay.
I would personally go Christian McCaffrey, CD Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Brees Hall, Bijan Robinson.
You think Bijan's gonna have a good year?
I do.
That's what the
I think
consensus is. I don't understand. Like it's his second year.
he was
I
good
don't
last
see.
year, even with no good quarterback and a bad coach.
I don't know. I mean he had potential. I just feel like it is the Falcons.
It is the Falcons, but the
That's the one.
Falcons,
That's the one stigma I have. Is it's just like a gut feeling. Like it is the Falcons.
yeah, but Matt Ryan days, they were a good team when they had a
They were.
quarterback that could throw.
Yeah, they were.
They were a fun team.
They they beat the Packers that one year, but yes, they were a fun team, and Matt Ryan won an MVP.
Michael Turner, Roddy White,
Let's not forget
solid
about the
players.
great Michael Vick.
That's
I know, but never.
pre fantasy days, even
Well,
probably.
fantasy was
Yeah,
absolutely a thing.
that's
So
true.
actually, here's a funny.
Pre my fantasy days. Michael Vick on the
Here's
Eagles was my fantasy
a
days,
fun
not
fact
Michael
about
Vick on the
fantasy
Falcons.
football. It's been around for quite a while. So back in the '80s, my mom's boss played fantasy football. This is before computers. It was
Yeah,
all
you
manual.
did it manual.
But here's my favorite part is that he would like sometimes ask my mom to like call the Falcons organization and ask if a certain player was going to play this week. Like, imagine doing that in this day and age.
That's pretty funny. But I
And
mean,
like
the
they would
questions
pay, the
mattered
thing is
all
they
the
would
same.
pick up the phone. That's the crazy
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
All right.
It's same questions, different time.
I think so yeah, I think Christian McCaffrey, I think, Brees Hall's up there. I think, you know, I'm skeptical on Bijan, but like I wouldn't say no if I drafted him. What are some like second tier running backs? Like I think a big question I have is Derrick Henry on the Ravens. I think he's going to be good.
I think he's going to score a lot of touchdowns, but Keon Mitchell, their third down running back, is starting on the PUP list. but he's pretty good. So I think they're gonna eventually have a 1A, 1B, or maybe like a one, like Derrick Henry's 1A, 1C maybe with Keon Mitchell. But I think overall good, score a lot of touchdowns, but not a lot of PPR upside
Yeah, I
there.
think he's going to be
But
able to
I mean,
do more.
I'm not drafting him in the first round if I
Oh, he's
have
not a
the
first round talent this
opportunity.
year.
But yeah,
I think he's going to be able to be more productive by doing less. Like,
yeah,
remember when Mark Ingram and Lamar were in Baltimore? That was the year
yeah,
I won my chip. I had both of them because it
yeah,
worked so well because you never really knew who was going to run the ball. So
for
both
sure.
had very good seasons.
Yeah, and you gotta respect the run with Lamar B. Um, and it should be a fun team to watch. Even just Derrick Henry in the purple and black should be cool to see.
Only he doesn't fall to the Ravens running back curse.
He's old.
He's not, I know, but like he's a tank. He's a big guy. Like he's hard to bring down. He can still run.
He's like 31 or 32.
Yeah, I know, but he ages like a fine wine.
That's fair.
All right. Any like late round running backs you're high on, like maybe like a nice someone who might vulture some TDs. It's not a fullback era, but like someone who might vulture some TDs.
In terms of just like teams altogether across the league.
Yeah, like any running backs you think like below seventh round and you're like wouldn't mind picking up.
Gotcha. I would say, I mean, Mostert is the obvious one. Raheem in Miami,
Yeah.
taking them from A Chain, and I think also, I think Blake Corum's going to have a big year of vulturing from Kyron Williams. Um, and unfortunately, in my last draft I did with my friends from home, I have both A Chain and Kyron Williams. So that's more of me speaking of my fear also. Um, I think there's gonna be a lot of two back systems this year with like Tennessee with Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears, I think his name is. Um, but I think NFL teams are moving towards multiple backs, the athleticism that you see across the board, and the running back position is flattened a bit more. And with health problems and everything, a lot of teams are just going to it because at the end of the day, they're playing to win. They're not playing for fantasy, so they don't care as much.
Yeah. If only NFL teams care about your fantasy team.
Yeah,
Make some calls.
yeah. But I just think that's the thing about running backs. The other thing why I think they're not like the high tier ones are good. Like someone like a Josh Jacobs, for instance, with AJ Dillon going on the IR, his value goes up because he's going to get those goal line touches that AJ Dillon might have taken.
Is Josh
Um,
Jacobs on the IR?
AJ Dillon is.
I did not know that, believe it or not. I don't know. I have trouble keeping up with things like right
You don't
now.
have Adam Schefter's
I do, but I
notifications
just
on for
like
Twitter.
I have him on Instagram. I'm not, I know we have a Twitter for this podcast. I don't actually check Twitter. I just
That's fair.
all my
That's how I
followers are
get all my
bots.
fantasy news. That's fair.
All my
Fantasy
follow
news is because I just quickly see Adam Schefter's tweets, AJ Dillon on season-ending IR, and it's like, oh,
He's on the
nice, like
season-ending IR.
correct.
I did not know that.
Breaking news on
This is the
step
first
one.
one of this. I really had no idea this was a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, bummer for the Packers. We're still winning the Super Bowl. But we did our NFL preview already. We already recorded it, but it's airing next week.
Really, with who?
We did with Feldstein.
Nice.
We have an
How's
out.
he?
We recorded an hour's worth of like material, like over an hour's worth of just us talking ball.
You love it. You
Like,
love it.
cause like we burned for the first call, like just talking AFC. So then we had to do a whole nother call just to do the NFC.
There you go. Who's your Super Bowl pick prediction?
So mine's the Packers. I will ask you at the end of this because I'm writing everyone who comes on the shows down just to see who gets it right.
There
I
you go.
believe we'll find out. I think Feldstein said he's going with the Chiefs. I'm riding with the Packers because they're my team, and I think this is the year. I say that
Okay.
every year, but all right. Other positions, wide receiver. I mean, C Lamb, Tyreek Hill are in a league of their own.
Yeah.
Like let's say you two running backs first. Like, who's a good third round, fourth round receiver?
Third and fourth round receiver. I like the Texans receivers this year.
So you got Tank Dell. You got it's Tank
Tank
Dell,
Dell,
Nico.
Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs.
Oh yeah, they're stacked.
Yeah, exactly. And who else? Uh,
Jalen Waddle. Like, where does he fall?
yeah, I think he's more of like a round four probably.
He's such like a home run hitter. Like, he's not like he's not catching the short passes. He's going for the home runs.
For
Like,
sure.
I've drafted him multiple times just because I love Jalen Waddle because he's so fast. But I always like it's a real feast or famine with him.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think like again, Tua will be able to spread the ball and hit him deep, but I don't know if I would trust that every game he's gonna have the performance that you'd expect.
I think whatever receivers we got, any Bears receivers, because I was helping our friend Jeremy Spire with his draft for his other league, and he was very high on Keenan Allen. He
Yeah,
drafted Keenan
that's
Allen like
fair.
sixth round. Like, that's not what I would have thought of for Keenan Allen.
I would agree, but again, there's a lot to go around there. Um, compared to like a system like I don't even know who exactly
We don't really
what
know how Chicago's system's going to work with
yeah,
Caleb.
exactly. Um, so yeah, that's kind of not exactly sure.
Any like sleeper receivers you're thinking like that might still be on free agent, might be like a late round pick. Any sleepers you got?
Um, I like I don't know about sleeper. Um, but I think people a little further down, like a Nick Chubb late is a good pick.
Just
Given
because
that he's gonna start.
he's injured right now.
Correct, exactly. So people are forgetting about him.
Because he'll be good in three or
Like
well,
week six or whatever
yeah,
it
I
may
think he
be.
comes back week 5, week 6.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so I think that he's good. Um, I think who else? I'm trying to think of some players I wish I got in my other league that I didn't get. I like Devontae Smith could be pretty good.
AJ Brown is probably going to be a more top tier
AJ Brown's
guy.
gonna be more of a top tier guy. Um,
Where does
yeah, I
Saquon
mean
fall in the mix? He's also like a first round guy, right?
Saquon definitely first round. I think he's gonna take some of um, those push plays, for
The tush
instance.
push.
I think he's gonna take some of those from Jalen Hurts now that Jason Kelsey isn't there.
I mean, they haven't banned the
And
tush push.
no, they're not gonna ban
I
it, and they
really
shouldn't
thought they
ban it.
were.
Um, no,
I mean,
I don't.
they're the only like yeah, the Eagles have a lot of like stack positions, but again, like they really teetered off last year. I'm curious to see if the magic continues, but I think they'll be good to start the season.
Yeah,
It's down a
I agree.
stretch.
I agree. I think they'll be good. I mean, I will see how their defense holds up, but I think their offense has the firepower. They just got to win the big game.
You
You
got to win
know,
the
that's what
big game.
matters. Um,
All
trying to
right.
think of some more middle tier people, but we can
I'm
move on.
all right. Quarterbacks. I got two questions. Not in addition to
Yeah.
which ones you should go for. When would you suggest picking a quarterback? Because I have made a mistake the last 2 years of going like second round quarterback. I went Josh Allen, and then a year
Yeah.
after I went Patrick Mahomes second round, and I think that was a bad idea in hindsight.
Yeah. I think the big difference is um for like I think if you want one of those top six guys, you got to go pretty early. So like CJ Stroud, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, etc. But if you don't and you want to wait a little bit, there's some value down below. It's just a matter of finding it.
Because I think like I still think Stafford's a very good like later round pick. I think you could start feasibly start Stafford.
Yeah,
Like
I'd agree.
there are, second tier guys I think are like still very valuable assets. Like I mean Stafford comes to mind. There's Jordan Love is kind of in that mix in my opinion because I'm biased.
Yeah.
I don't think Kirk Cousins in Atlanta is going to work.
Um,
I wouldn't have drafted
that's
him even when he
fine.
was in Minnesota. Like
You're down on the Falcons.
I just down the Falcons just because like I don't know what we're getting with the Falcons. That like it's such a winnable division and like they just don't seem like they could win it.
Yeah, that's fair. Um,
I think that's the main reason why I'm down. I have no reason to be down on the Falcons.
yeah, I think what at the
Biased
end of
towards
the
Michael
day,
Penix, maybe a little, a little.
yeah, I don't think he's gonna
I'm
get
just
any
biased
time
because he
this
played
year.
for that team that plays in Seattle that wears the
Yeah,
purple and gold.
yeah, those should not be named.
Little side note: when I met him at the Heisman, I was like, I really thought about like telling him thanks for ruining my season, but you know what? It was his moment. I didn't do that.
That was probably a good move.
It was a good
Uh,
move. No,
it
I
was
just
his
said,
move.
Freddie, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
All right. Tight ends.
yeah,
If you don't get Kelsey, you don't get Mark Andrews. I would put Kittle in there too. Like, where do you draft the tight end? And like, who's? Because it's such a top heavy position.
yeah. I mean, I would put Laporta up there too,
Yeah, Laporta's
like
good.
Trey McBride, and then it
Who's
definitely
Trey
drops a
McBride?
little
Who's
bit.
McBride play for?
He's for the Cardinals. He came on at the end of the season last year. He's pretty solid.
I mean,
Um,
Fryer move. Maybe they just announced Russ as the starting
yeah,
quarterback,
I
but I don't
saw
think
that.
that means much.
I don't think Fryermuth is great. I think
Dallas Goddard,
ish. I think Evan Ingram's pretty good.
he's
It's
on
full PPR.
Ingram's
He's
on
on
Jags.
Jacksonville, and I think David Njoku on Cleveland's
I mean,
pretty
yeah,
good
Njoku,
too.
he's a good like
But
mid
I
round
think
guy.
those two guys have a lot more value in PPR because they're like the 7 catches for 50 yards kind of game,
Mhm.
which in a full PPR, like 12 points from your tight end, you'll take that. And then a touchdown mixed in there is added bonus. But for the most part, like that you really need touchdowns from your tight ends in half and non PPR. So that's what it comes down to there.
Yeah, I think like
But I
it's
wouldn't wait that long. I would say
it's a
like
hard position to
if you're
draft.
it's definitely is because it can break up your strategy. And I was just looking before hopping on like the rounds for my last draft, and like I ended up with Evan Ingram, but I took Kyron Williams. He slipped to the third round for me, and I thought the value was too good. But I could have gotten Laporta, which then I could have come back to my next pick and gotten Alvin Kamara. And so
Yeah,
like it was just
it's
like I messed up a little bit, but you also never know who's gonna fall and things like that.
it is worthwhile picking a tight end a little early. Like obviously, like yes, Kelsey's great, but like I'm not gonna burn a first round pick on Travis Kelsey. I know we're a pro Taylor Swift podcast, but we're not doing that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, people keep on saying he's getting old. I have no reason to think he's not gonna be as productive as he was last season
Why is that?
because he never like maybe this is the year where he shows his age, but I don't think so. Like it's not
Yeah,
like he teetered off. He's ever really teetered off. He's been a consistent tight end like the
yeah,
past 10 years. Like even when Alex Smith was the quarterback, well, that's a bad example. Alex Smith hated receivers.
yeah. Alex
That's a
Smith didn't hate
terrible
receivers.
example because Alex Smith
Alex Smith,
hated throwing the ball to receivers.
yeah, um,
But like he
yeah.
and
I mean,
Mahomes just have such a good chemistry. Like it's gonna work, and he's
yeah,
gonna be
that's
productive.
true. Yeah, no, that's definitely true. I mean, I think the little like dinks and stuff like that they have just will continue to work. Um, Again, though, a lot of people just spread it around um in Kansas City, and so I think like although it's Kelsey is like Mahomes' guy, you know what I mean? Mahomes just has the ability to spread it wherever the heck he
Yeah,
wants, and therefore. Like their receiving core is pretty fun. It's just fast. Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy,
The fact that they got
Rashee
Xavier Worthy,
Rice.
side note,
I
is
know
ridiculous.
it is ridiculous. Yeah, no, 100%.
All right. Brock Bowers on the Raiders.
Yeah, that's a good, not
I
bad.
I first of all, I'm big on Minshew Mania coming to Vegas.
Really, it's gonna be fun. I
It's
love
just like
Minshew.
I wanted to work so bad. But I think Bowers is like a physical specimen
Yeah,
that I mean, he was so good in college. I think it's very much going to translate to the NFL. It's just like, can the Raiders get it going? And I think they
yeah,
will because I think Devontae requires so much attention. Brock Bowers is going to be open.
yeah. I agree, and I mean, like at the end of the day, I just don't know if there's that many receivers. Like Devontae Adams getting old. I just don't know if he'll be able to get that open with their receivers. I guess Jacoby Myers too, but it just doesn't, I mean, I think there's going to be a bit more pressure on Brock than some of these other teams that have like some better receivers.
All right. Let's think about defenses. I mean, I have a bold take. The
Here,
Pittsburgh D is like a top 3 D. I think that's a little
really,
bold. Well, think about it. They're not going to be spectacular in offense this year, but Mike Tomlin always wins 8 or 9 games. And I think TJ Watt and the defense are going to save the day every week. They're going to be the Iowa Hawkeyes of the NFL.
really.
I mean, that's a bold take, but like, think about it. Like how unbearable was it to watch the Steelers last year, and they were still winning games.
That's not wrong. I mean, I think like it is what it is. But I don't think defenses will win you championships. I don't think
No,
they'll
but I
lose you
think
championships. Um, I personally drafted. Actually, can't tell you who I drafted, but I draft
why can't you tell me? You don't
because we have
remember? You don't
we have
want
a
to tell
big
me?
draft. No, I took the Chiefs defense this year, and usually I'm one to stream defenses, and I might as the season goes on.
That's what I typically do.
Yeah, but I
I
will
can't tell you
say
my I can't tell you my pattern strategy for defenses because we're in the same league. But I've
whoever's against the Panthers was last year for me, but
well, there's that. But
maybe it's whoever's
I have
against the
more to it.
Patriots.
I have more to it.
Okay.
Let's just say I got locked down.
Got the defense strategy locked down.
It worked my championship season.
That's fair. Well, my championship season last year also worked with
You
my
drafted 4 quarterbacks, and it worked.
my patented strategy. We ended up
Are you
using
going to
all of
draft
them, I'm
four
pretty sure.
quarterbacks again this year?
TBD,
Are you on auto draft?
I may have to be on auto draft. I have a flight to Salt Lake City at 5 a.m. tomorrow.
The
So we'll
draft's at
see if
eight
I could
thirty p.m. Eastern time.
correct 6:30 p.m. Whatever mountain time I guess I'm going to be in.
Yes.
So barring, we'll see. It's my answer. Hopefully, I will not have to. I
Tell them
don't
it's like
know
a
what
family
the
emergency. That's what I did when I bought Taylor Swift tickets.
I don't know what the deal is with missing out on work team dinners for fantasy draft, but we'll
You
see.
can draft during dinner. They would totally understand. I've done that many times.
That's fair. We'll see the vibe.
There was a year where my mom like had us eat dinner at like 5 p.m. Like the draft was probably at like 9. And like my mom was like, "Why are we eating dinner so early?" She's like, "You got to get ready for your draft." I'm like, "It's in 4 hours, mom. Like we don't need dinner at 5." She's like, "I know. You got to get ready."
That's for sure.
She was like,
That's
"She's a
fair.
team player." My mom always supports me in my fantasy football quest to win for
Yeah,
Georgia.
that's fair.
All right. Besides Justin Tucker, kickers.
Yeah.
Don't draft
I
Anders Carlson.
I
That is
have
all I can tell you.
yeah. Um, I think that I personally go with like the kicker of my quarterback, is what I'd say. Um, Given that usually like your quarterback that you're picking is good enough and you don't want that, nothing's worse than like they have first and goal and aren't able to score. And then you can at least capitalize on those points that your QB didn't get there.
Bad strategy.
Thank you.
I've never thought about that actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have a friend of the
Um,
we have a friend of the
but
show who drafts Butker every year, and I told him, "Are you really going to do it again this year?" You know,
with
great player
his
with some
remarks,
he has some he well, not only that, but he bought a fucking Butker shirt because
yeah,
drafts Butker every year. And I'm like, you gotta
that's.
wear that. You gotta like sit in a sports bar with that shirt and just see what happens.
I mean, I don't know if that would. It depends where you are, I guess.
That's what Ben Lefkowitz, friend of a show, he was on our third episode. But like, yeah, for the Step One fans who've been here since episode one, you probably remember him. He's the sad Patriots fan, just like you.
Yeah, aren't we all these days?
All right. I do have they're
That's pretty funny.
announcing the starting QB for the Patriots tomorrow. Do you think it's Drake May, day one?
Do I think it is Drake May day one? I unfortunately do not think it's Drake May day one.
Gonna roll with Jacoby Brissett.
I just think they are, unfortunately. I don't want them to.
I wanted to roll
Um,
with Joe Milton, but apparently no one else does.
I mean, I think they go right into it. And, you know what I mean? Like, I think at the end of the day, what's going to happen there is they're going to, like, unfortunately, there's going to be some cross. Like, they're going to just, the way they're going to do it is, like they're gonna try and protect Drake when I think in reality they should just go for it. But yeah, we'll see.
I'm assuming you're gonna advise people to not draft Jacoby Brissett. Just a hunch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
maybe.
would
Is there
definitely
anyone
advise
on the
that.
Patriots you would consider drafting?
Um,
Ramondre Stevenson, maybe.
yeah, potentially.
That's a good late round pick.
Yeah, maybe a late Jalen Polk as well. I think Jalen Polk is
So,
pretty
I mean,
good.
you read my mind with rookies. I was thinking if you had any takes on any rookies you're high on. Where's Caleb Williams go? Like, does he deserve to get drafted in the draft, or is he going to be like a free agent pickup?
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, we'll start with him because he's the number one pick.
No, I think he deserves to be drafted. I think he is good enough where um he has enough weapons at the end of the day where it could be really good. So I think that would be worth it there.
I don't know. I just feel like the Chicago, like Matt Eberflus's offense, like maybe because like they couldn't figure out Justin Fields, but I just feel like it's not like a system built for Caleb Williams. He was still doing like his like running around, making magic happen, and I feel like that's not
Yeah.
always sustainable. And like Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, but like they also have an offensive scheme that like he does very well, and then he could still make those plays.
Yeah. No, that is definitely true. Um I'm not exactly sure like what how much they're gonna trust him just to sling it. You know what I mean? But I think if anyone's gonna get the opportunity to, it's gonna be him.
All right, good rookie. Do PPR count? I don't do full PPR. Do PPR points count for quarterbacks?
No,
Okay,
no.
bummer.
Completion wise,
Because I was gonna say Bo Nix.
yeah. Why? You think he's gonna do a lot
I
of
am very
completion?
high on Bo Nix. I say it every week.
You,
Like I watched him in preseason. Like he understands the offense.
that's fair.
It is a great offense for a player like him, and it's not going to be like, you know, spectacular, but it's just like it's very simple for O's. He knows what he's doing. It's built towards him. And Sean
Like
Payne,
him so much.
what?
Why do you like him so
Well,
much?
because I went to Oregon. That's why.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He was an
That's like
Oregon guy.
really the only reason. Like also because like I'm not gonna lie, like yeah, I was like joking around saying like, oh, he's gonna win the Heisman like his first year there, and like obviously the Georgia game happened, and people were like, you're nuts, but like, hey, like I wasn't that
Yeah,
far off. Like
that's fair.
I
Where
obviously I didn't
go
believe in
ahead.
him when he first stepped on campus, but like he proved me wrong.
Yeah, I mean I was proved wrong last year too. I think it's another step, obviously, to get to this, you know what I mean? But we'll see.
I would say there's no one on the Broncos I would draft in a draft. Like I can't think of anyone. Like maybe Cortland Sutton, like dark horse receiver. But like
Why do you say that?
I just feel like Cortland Sutton's gonna do for a good season. I feel like he's the obvious number one receiver in the Broncos right now.
That's fair.
And I just feel like their
Um,
running backs, like it's not a great running back team.
yeah. Who is their starting running back? Javante
Honestly, I
Williams
don't
still?
know. They were like, I think Hearn was in the mix. It might be Javante
Piran just
Williams.
left. Piran got
Okay,
signed.
then he's not there.
He got
Javante
signed by the
Williams.
Chiefs. Oh, they have Jaleel McLaughlin or something like that.
Javante Williams, I think, is in the mix.
Javante
Like
Williams is probably their main guy. Yeah.
it's not a I wouldn't draft anyone on the Broncos, but is there any teams
Yeah.
you should avoid drafting at all costs besides the Patriots? Like no player from one particular team is like gonna work out.
Um, no, not really.
Not even the
Excuse
Titans
me. Uh,
or the Panthers.
I think everyone's got someone.
I guess so. I don't think it's the year of Will Levis. I think Bryce
No,
Young is not. Bryce Young is an offensive line away from being competent.
you can't see over the offensive line,
I know he's
unfortunately.
5'11", but or is he smaller than that? He's not that tall.
I think he's listed at 5'11", so he's actually probably like five
So like
nine.
someone as my build is like playing in the NFL. Like obviously he's a slightly better athlete than I am.
A little, but yeah. I
I
mean, I
don't
think
think
he's
this is the year to draft Adam Thielen. I don't think that people are doing that. I just think they're
no.
nuts.
Deontay Johnson isn't bad in a PPR. I think he's going to catch a lot of passes just to get the ball out of Bryce's hand quickly. But I mean, the Panthers are a work in progress to say the least.
You still got your Panthers buddy who believes in Bryce Young.
I do. Yeah, my roommate. I think he's living in La La Land still as well. But I think
What if they're actually good? They won't be, but what if they are?
I do not think they will be.
It will take it will take 9 games, 9 wins to win that division this year.
I think there's a chance that they are worse than the Patriots.
All right.
Strong chance.
Jets, Aaron Rodgers. I'm not drafting Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think he's a good fantasy quarterback.
And I don't think Mike Williams is a good pick to draft.
Yeah.
Like maybe later rounds, but like
I think Garrett Wilson's good, and I think Brees is good. I just think Aaron Rodgers tries to win games at the end of the day, and he'll do whatever
he's got to stay
necessary to do
healthy.
that.
He's got to make it past 4 plays of a season.
That is a good starting point. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a solid player. I just think he like
He's
I don't know.
old.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, he's old. We'll see where it comes from. He started to in the Packers towards the end, like he wasn't slinging it the same,
He
and
seems like
then
in his late 30s.
yeah, and he's still. He's coming off of a Achilles injury, and he's still doing it. So
And he says this was the hardest training camp of his career.
I wonder why.
I mean, because apparently Robert Salah put him to work.
There you go.
Well, yeah, I'm just excited for fantasy football. Like, I think it's a fun
The,
year.
the optimism that you have post drafting your team is great.
It's the best. Unless you really fuck up, it's like the best feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I've already regretted some picks, as I told you, but at the end of the day, the guys are the guys, and you got to roll with them. And I'm excited to roll with them.
All right.
You know,
Before I get to your Super Bowl prediction, I do have a fun question. What was the dumbest pick you've ever made in a fantasy football draft, if you remember?
the dumbest pick. I don't remember. I mean, the most unlucky last year, I had Nick Chubb.
That's just unlucky, but like
Got
not bad
hurt.
luck, just flat out bad idea.
Oof, oof, oof.
Because
I
I
don't
can tell you
remember.
mine.
Let's hear yours. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember who my primary quarterback was, but all I remember is when Carson Wentz was still in the Eagles. I drafted Carson Wentz 6th round. I had a
That
quarterback
is
that I took in the 3rd round or like 2nd round.
why'd
that
you
I
take
took.
Carson Wentz too?
I don't know. I was not thinking. All right. I was in like a trailer park in Wyoming. It was the year of the RV trip. The fact that I remember that. And I just remember
That's a
like
good
thinking
memory.
like getting a steal, picking Carson Wentz in the 6th round, and then I'm like, oh wait, why did I draft two out of my 6 spots are currently quarterbacks? This was a terrible idea. And
That's
you know
pretty
what? I
funny.
did not win that year. I don't think I made
Yeah,
the playoffs. The fact that I remember all this.
that's pretty funny.
All right,
Yeah. I mean,
Super Bowl pick.
I don't remember.
I got to
My
write it down.
Super Bowl pick. I forgot we are coming back to this.
All right, you got to pick who's gonna win, and you got to pick who's gonna be the runner-up.
I think that the unfortunately the Chiefs
All right,
are
you got
going
the.
to play against the Chiefs are going to play against I was thinking 49ers. I don't think it's going to be both of them again though. AFC is so much better than the NFC. That's the thing. Let's go. Let's go with the. No, I don't think the Eagles are going to do it. I don't
All
think the
right,
Packers are going to do it. I got to think. Give me 15 seconds.
all right. I mean, we got a minute 30 left in this Zoom call.
That's fair. I don't think anyone from the NFC South is going to do it. I don't think the Chargers. I don't think
The Chargers are also AFC, so that wouldn't help.
that's so true. That's so true. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, let's go Eagles. Eagles,
That's the same
Chiefs.
exact one as Feldstein.
Oh, I gotta change it then. All right. Then let's
Well,
go Ravens, Eagles with the Ravens winning the Super
oh, you
Bowl.
got Ravens over Eagles.
The battle of the bird. No, let's do Ravens, Niners. Ravens, Niners final pick.
All
With
right, I
the
like that one.
Ravens winning the Super Bowl.
You know what my bold one is?
Let's hear it.
I have Packers over Bengals. I really think Joe Burrow's making it this year.
If Jamar Chase plays,
I want the
that's
Bengals
a
to be in a Super Bowl so badly, and I want the Packers to win, even though I love Joe Burrow.
you
Anyways, this has been
need Jamar
awesome.
Chase.
It's been
All right.
awesome. Always great having you
Thanks,
on.
Freddie.
I will
Appreciate
see you
it.
tomorrow for the draft.
Sounds good. I'll
All
try
right.
my best to be there. Have a
Have
good
a good
one.
night. All right. It's that time of year again. Time to give a full preview of college football. And we got games Thursday for Monday to kick off week 1. And we're going to start Thursday night with North Dakota State coming into Boulder to take on Coach Prime and Colorado. Before we get into this game, there is something important I want to say regarding Colorado football. It has come to my attention that the Colorado Athletic Department has banned a Denver Post journalist, Sean Keeler, from asking anyone in a football program a question during media events. They claimed he's personally attacking the program and Coach Prime. Well, I like to think I'm a member of the media. So, in solidarity with Sean Keeler, I will not be asking questions at Colorado football events. Even if they invite me to go, I won't ask questions. I will continue to be critical of Colorado football until they prove me wrong. So I actually emailed Sean Keeler to tell him that I stand with him. And I think the way he is being treated goes against the values of university. And also, I think it's a violation of First Amendment. So to Sean Keeler, just want to tell you, I stand with you. Keep up the good work. Also, a journalist calling out Colorado for not being good at football bothers you. Very simple solution, Dion. Prove them wrong. You won 4 games last year. You're acting like you're the best team in the country. Let's start by, I don't know, making a bowl game. You won 4 games last year. Why do you think like you're the best team in the country? Prove me wrong. Okay. I challenge you. Prove me wrong, and I will sing your praises. I actually got an update about the story because Sean Keeler actually emailed me saying thank you. Never in a million years did I think a Denver Post journalist would actually respond to my email. You know, I just thought it'd be fun for the show. I thought it'd be a good kick. But Sean, thank you for emailing me back. You are very much welcome. And if you ever want to be a guest on Step One, would love to talk Colorado football with you. So if you're watching this and want to be a guest on the show, you have my email, Sean. Would love to hear from you. But let's focus on the game at hand against North Dakota State. Not an easy week 1 game. North Dakota State, they're always good, and they love raining on a parade of a Power 5 school. I want nothing more than for Colorado to start off week one by losing FST. It'll just be a great way to start the season for everyone. Again, I'm not anti-Colorado. I just don't understand why Dion thinks they're so good when they won 4 games last year. Let's think realistically here. All right, moving into Friday night, we got no crazy fun games. I'm excited to see how good Oklahoma is, but they're playing Temple, so won't be a good way of telling if they're any good. We got a late game with TCU versus Stanford. So this is the first time I'm watching football on the East Coast time zone in about 6 years. I'm not gonna lie, not a fan of the late start time for West Coast games. It starts at 10:30 Eastern time. I personally would rather wake up early in the morning and watch football, and I would do that over staying up till 2 in the morning watching football. And let's be honest, this is not going to be that good of a game. But since I love football, I will be watching. I think TCU is going to win because it's Stanford. That doesn't inherently mean I think TCU will be good this year. But then again, did we really think they were going to be good 2 years ago when they went to the national championship? So you never know. Again, I don't think Stanford's going to be that good. So I think TCU should win this one. Going into our first big Saturday of the season, we got a lot of games to go through. Starting off with the big battle in Atlanta, Clemson versus Georgia. Now, we talked a lot about Clemson on the show. Dabo Swinney is trying to do things the way he's always done them in a constantly changing environment, and that's just not going to work against a team like Georgia. I mean, Georgia's just clearly the better team to begin with, and Clemson doesn't have the guys to beat them. They have guys, they have a good scheme, but again, like, it just seems like Georgia's the better team, and I think they'll win this one. Like 4 years ago, this would have been a completely different story. Like in 2021, this was a much closer game. Georgia won, but like Clemson gave them a run for their money. But again, Dabo Swinney, like or not, he is not changing. And as long as he does not continue to evolve as college football evolves, he's going to lose these games and he's going to get pounded by the dogs. We also got a big game in Florida with Miami going to the swamp to take on the Florida Gators. So for Miami, as I've said, this is a big season for Cristobal. He needs to show some sort of improvement, in my opinion, if he wants to keep his job. And what better way to do that than go to the swamp and beat the Gators? I know it's not a conference game, but it's still a big game. It's a big week one. You're going to the swamp. It's not going to be easy. Hard place to win. But Miami has a good enough team. And I'm excited to see how Cam Ward not only fits in Miami's offense, which again, I've talked a lot about Mario Cristobal's offense. I think it's stagnant. I don't think it's that good. But again, I think Cam Ward is a great quarterback as well. But let's see how he handles one of the toughest environments in all of college football. Like the Gator fans are going to be doing the Gator chomp going to Saturday night. Obviously, we got the Ducks and the start of Dylan Gabriel's Heisman campaign. The game everyone who isn't an Oregon fan will be watching is down in College Station, Texas, with Notre Dame taking on Texas A&M. So many storylines for this game. You got Riley Leonard taking on his old coach from Duke. Mike Elko is now the head coach of A&M. It's the start of a new era in College Station. I guarantee you, the Aggies fans think this is totally the year. I mean, if for any Aggies fans listening, it's definitely not. But even if you win this game, you're not going to beat Alabama. You're not going to beat Texas. This season might start on high for Texas A&M, but they're never good enough to get over the hump. That's the story of Texas A&M. Even when you had Johnny Manziel, like you had a good enough team to be better than you were, and you were. You went 8-4 that year. Like 8 games is where Texas A&M thrives. All right, you're going to win your 8 games. You're going to make a bowl game. I've never understood why Texas A&M thinks they're better than 8 games. Like that one COVID season was a fluke. You were really good that year, great, but you didn't make the playoff because you couldn't beat Bama. So again, it's going to be an awesome game, though. I'm excited to watch it. I'll have it on next to the Ducks game. We're looking forward to that one for sure. Like that's going to be a big game, especially for Riley Leonard playing his first big game at Notre Dame in College Station. What better way to start off your career at Notre Dame? We got a big Sunday night game for college football with USC taking on LSU. USC is going to get embarrassed in this game because no Lincoln Riley team plays defense, and this is not the year where I think he's going to start teaching players how to tackle. Now, you hear rumors about the new guy, I don't remember his name, teaching them how to tackle. I've said on the show before, I think Lincoln Riley is on the hot seat. I know they are paying him so much money, but USC also has a lot of money and probably a very rich booster squad. And they are an impatient fan base and they want to win it now. And if Lincoln Riley cannot be competitive in the Big Ten, which again, I don't think he will, I think he will be out of a job by the end of the season. That's just me. I know people disagree with me, but I think Lincoln Riley is on the hot seat, only, even though it's year 3 at USC. As for LSU, new era, now that Jane Daniels is gone, but Garrett Newsheimer spent the last 2 seasons learning from him. And I think playing against what's going to be a bad defense is a great way to start your season. So I think it's going to be a high scoring game. It's not like LSU's defense is that great either, or at least they weren't very good last year. So we will see what happens. I'm excited for a high scoring showdown down in New Orleans. And finally, Monday night, we got Florida State taking on Boston College. Now, again, we said at the start of the show, maybe Florida State's loss to Georgia Tech was a fluke. Maybe they're actually good and they just need to fix a couple things. But Boston College, well, not a great team. They could be the team to really put a nail in the coffin for Florida State. And how great would it be for Coach Bill O'Brien to come to Doak Campbell and beat Florida State as your first game coaching Boston College? It's probably not going to happen, but I will be rooting for the Eagles because while the Ducks are always my team, I live in Boston now. I'll keep tabs on Eagles. Maybe we'll go to a couple games. It should be fun. Like, not the best game day environment, but certainly not the worst. It's ACC football. It's always fun. And hey, football's football. That's our show for this week. I know last week I mentioned I'm going to be streaming Dynasty Mode on College Football 25 using the Arizona Wildcats, a team I picked completely at random. Still getting the equipment set up. Once I do, we'll try to stream a couple nights a week. Definitely Tuesday nights. We'll definitely stream on Tuesday nights. Maybe Wednesday nights too. All right. But again, now that football season is here, I will be doing episodes every week, and we got some awesome interviews coming up and a lot of new guests and returning guests as well joining the show. All right, Big Fred, over and out.